learn as much as you can. Technique is super important, but it's also important how you use it.
I am
Okay,
joined on the Europe Drum Show official podcast by Christian Eigner. Yeah, how are you?
all good. Thank you. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Welcome to the Europe Drum Show official podcast. It's a pleasure to have you here. I think it's fair to say, you're probably most famous and well known for being the drummer in Depeche Mode, and you're going to be opening the main stage of the Europe Drum Show on Sunday, the 30th of March at 11:15. How for you does it feel to be asked to open the stage at such an amazing and prestigious weekend of drums and drummers and percussion and drum enthusiasts?
Well, to be honest, it's amazing, and I haven't done this before. I never played at a drum show, so this is my first time, and it's going to be very interesting. You know what I do? I play my solo show. I play solo shows at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting, and it's going pretty well. But the solo shows I play, they're obviously longer, and it's all about the show and the music really. So what I want to do here is I just want to play some parts, some songs that are part of my solo show.
Wow. That's going to be so. Can we, without giving too much away, because we're super excited that you're going to be performing at the Europe Drum Show. Are you going to be in that solo show revisiting any music from Depeche Mode? Can we expect any kind of moments of nostalgia, or is this all just going to be
No,
your so? No.
no, that's only my own songs. It's songs that I do a lot of production work. I do a lot of producing, writing in my studio, and I've done this for a long time.
Yeah.
So what I do, I just pick a few songs that I think that might be interesting for my solo shows,
Mhm.
and then I change it all around. So obviously, you don't need 4 minute songs to perform, to perform live. What I do is I make the songs longer, so they're like 8 9 minutes long,
Wow.
and they're really building up. So there's a lot of dynamics. And the interesting thing is, I mean, it's all about, obviously I play drums. I'm a drummer, and I've always been a drummer. But it's about, in this case, it's about the music, really. I just want to play. I just want to play songs, and obviously they're super drum heavy, which is
I can't
which
wait.
which is what I always wanted to do. But it is, when I play my solo shows, it's not. I can't really tell you exactly, but I might have, maybe I do have 10% drummers there, but
Yeah.
90% it's mainly people who want to go and have a nice night out and enjoy a show, a show that is different to all of the other shows they see, because it's just a drum
Yes.
kit on stage, and
That's
I use backing tracks, obviously, so the whole show goes through from beginning to the end. So now for the drum show, I will obviously change that because I think it's a 45-minute slot. Yeah. So I know I just choose a few of the songs that I think might be working really well for the drum show, and that's what I'll do.
So you have never, in your entire career, you've never done a drum clinic or a drum show or drum exhibition. So
Oh.
what was it about the Europe Drum Show that you thought, do you know what? Maybe now is the time for me to actually do a drum clinic.
Well, Christian Wenzel from Paisley brought it up, and he called me and said, "How do you feel about this?" And I was like, That's, I've thought about it, but actually I thought, no, you know what, this is the perfect time to do something like this and start it, and now that I have the songs that I can play,
Mhm.
it was a no-brainer to say yes to this.
Wow. And it's so exciting, and you're obviously sharing the stage with, some icons in the world of drums just across the entire
Yes,
weekend. There are some
absolutely.
legends, and obviously you are one of those legends. Do you get nervous before? And I know that you've not done this before, so I suppose it's difficult to answer. But you've seen the lineup, and it's an impressive lineup. Are you feeling nervous at all about this, or do you feel like, I'm Christian Eigner and I'm going to go out there and do what I do best?
To be honest, that's I can only do what I do, really. You know, I'm probably more nervous about the fact that I have to play at 11:15 in the morning. That's the only new thing to me, really.
It's the new time for rock and roll, apparently.
It is, right?
So what about? I mean, obviously, you've toured the world, several times, with obviously Depeche
Yeah.
Mode and lots of other musicians. Do you ever have to tackle nerves, when you play these big stadiums, or are you somebody that is very confident in their ability when they get behind the drums?
I am, as long as I'm behind my kit, I'm super confident.
Okay,
I,
okay.
I would not be confident if I had to step forward and talk.
Right, okay. So
I
so in
don't, it's the drum kit is my comfort zone. So wherever you put me, I really don't care. But I would not, I would probably be more nervous speaking in front of 20 people.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
So for
So
you, the drums is like your superhero cape, but you wear it on the front rather than on the back, right?
it's what I'm used to. Let's put it that
Yes.
way. And to be honest, the size of shows, obviously when you play a stadium tour, you get used to it.
Mm.
You know, it's like I'm not nervous. I'm just and no matter where I play and how many people there are, I just get quiet before I start. I just concentrate and that's it really. You know.
So for this particular show, you're going to be. This is the first time you've done a clinic, which in itself is firstly a massive compliment to us that you're coming to do this. But also it's huge for people that have been following your work for so many decades and so many years. The room that you're playing in is going to be filled up, Christian, with your fans and people that maybe might be new to the Christian Eigner
Oh,
party.
totally, totally.
Would your advice be to a drummer that would love to pursue a career in the drums the way that you have, over the last few decades?
Um, Listen to music. Part number one. Learn as much as you can. Technique is super important, but it's also important how you use it. For me, technique is always been some kind of vocabulary. You know,
Yes.
so you have to learn the words to be able to say something, but what you say is your thing. So
Okay.
there's, that's probably what I would tell everyone because learn how to speak, but always say what you say and what you want to say.
When
Don't
you
copy too much.
Yeah, I was just about to ask. So when you say listen to music, do you mean listen to lots of different genres of music so that you're well educated
Yes,
on yeah. And
absolutely.
so is that something that you regularly practice then? Do you often listen to lots of different genres of music?
I still do. I always did, but I still listen to completely different things when I'm just when I'm not working on something, when I just listen to something in the car or something like that.
Wow.
It could be an old Billy Cobham thing. It could
Okay.
be it could be it could also be AC/DC, old AC/DC stuff, or
Yeah, yeah.
Led Zeppelin. You know,
Wow.
so all of my, let's say, old heroes. They're still pretty important to me.
Who would you cite as your biggest hero on drums, talking about heroes?
Depending on what it's about, the topic. If it's studio drumming, recording drumming, Jeff Porcaro.
Oh, yes.
No
Yes.
one's ever, no one's ever been better. You know,
Okay.
he did things that I still listen to it, and I'm like, whoa. It's like it's
Yes.
just it's just how to get from A to B.
And
That's
what
that's what
about
it's
in
about.
a live drumming scenario? Does your drumming hero change if it's somebody on a live show, or is it Jeff Porcaro is all the way for you?
No, Jeff Porcaro, when it comes to recording, when it comes to I listened a lot to Billy Cobham when I was a kid, so that was a
Hmm.
big influence. I always listened a lot to I listened a lot to Stuart Copeland. I listened a
Yeah,
lot to
yeah,
Dennis Chambers.
yeah. Hmm.
quite really, really different things that I've been listening to,
That's so
It's
cool.
not about what it is, it's about the quality, in my opinion.
Yes, yes, I
You
completely
know?
agree. So you've mentioned that at the Europe Drum Show you're going to be doing your own stuff. Um, do you
Yes.
plan on making your session kind of interactive? Will you be asking the audience for questions, or do you have?
No. I think I think I think I told everyone, I'm just gonna play.
Okay, okay, that's really
I
good.
will just play. And that is I've never done a clinic before.
Mm,
And to be honest, I think it's way better to go up there and just play, to play my own music.
mhm.
And, I think that says more than words can do,
Yeah, no, I understand that. I
you
mean,
know?
some people are different, aren't they? I mean, when we were talking about the UK drum show in 2024, a lot of different drummers had a lot of different well, they thought about their sessions very differently. For example, like Nick Collins was very much all about asking the audience questions.
Right.
Chris Coleman just said it would be a miracle if he turned up on time. So there were lots of
Yeah.
different thoughts and processes for different drummers. I think part of being a drummer, and I know that some may disagree, but personally, I think drummers are often deemed to be natural extroverts. Do you agree? Do you think drummers often just are the life and soul of a party, or do you think that's kind of a myth that's just got a bit blown up?
I think it's not a myth. Well, I think the beauty of it is basically everyone's different, you know.
Hmm.
Let's okay, we can talk about technique, we can talk about, style, we can talk about influences, but whoever it is, everyone's doing his own thing.
Yeah.
And that's what's great about it. And some people are really good in explaining things and talking, and other people are just good going up and, playing.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
and that I'm more like that. So I'm, as I said before, I'm not a good talker. I'm
Well,
just
you're
gonna
doing very
play.
well now.
Well, that's a different situation, but I think as soon as I'm on stage, my role is to be behind a kid and not in
Yeah.
front of a mic.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'd be a singer.
Yeah. 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 I understand
and
that.
and a very, a singer who's very unhappy. So better to be a happy drummer.
So you've spoken about today. You've spoken about your who you cite as your heroes. You've spoken about
some
Jeff
some of
Beccaro.
my heroes. I mean,
Some
there's
of
so many. There's so
Yes,
many.
the ones that spring to mind, for you, Stuart Copeland. You've mentioned Jeff Beccaro, Billy Cobham, Dennis Chambers. When you think of those drummers? Obviously, you hold them in extremely high esteem, but what do you want your legacy to be? How do you want people to remember you that might be watching this in 100 years' time?
Legacy about me. Well, would basically the main thing would be, oh, he played some good music. First of all, he played some good music, and then, and then maybe, oh, that was interesting.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
you know
So really, the music is how you would love to just be remembered in 100 years, and you definitely
yeah.
will, because let's face it, Depeche Mode are one of the biggest bands on the planet, aren't they? Right? So you've
Oh,
done quite well.
yes. Yeah, I got that covered in my life.
Yeah.
But that's also, there's a lot of people think of me being, Depeche Mode, drumming with Depeche Mode, and obviously I can play to a click track, and all of that, and I can play with drum machines. But a lot of people don't know my, I'd call it jazz rock influence side.
Mhm.
You know, that is
And
a
that's
that's also the kit I'm going to use is it's a bigger version of my last DM touring kit,
wow.
but
Okay.
it's the bigger version, which the one that I use for my solo shows. And it's pretty cool. It's a concert tom kit.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's yeah. There's going to be a lot of attack and tone in that.
there's a
Like,
lot of like toms and attacks and tom melodies and
amazing. I'm honestly, I'm so excited. Obviously, you're playing one of the biggest weekends of drums in the world. At the in March, at the end of March. Um,
Are you trying to make me nervous now?
no, but I just think you've come so far as a musician. I mean, all of you that are playing, you've all toured the world. You've played with some of the biggest names in music. But all of you have had a journey that has started somewhere. And Christian, can you remember your first journey, or your first memory sitting behind the kit, being handed a pair of sticks? Was it from a friend or a family member, or was it that you just saw the drums and you were fixated on it? What
Yeah,
happened when you first met the drums?
I saw a drummer on TV when I was 4 years old, and I'm not 100% sure who it was. I think it was Animal.
Okay.
Um, and I was like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I knew someone who had a drum kit, so I sat down behind the kit and didn't stop, and that was it. I just never stopped.
Wow.
That was
And
that was that was it.
do you think you've ever had that feeling about anything else in your life since you saw the drums for the first time, or is that kind of one of those moments that stands out on its own because it was just so special and unique?
It was really really special, to be honest. I mean, when I compare what I'm my life now and then, it's like it hasn't really changed much because of that. when
You're just a big 4-year-old, aren't you?
well, I don't know, but I think I was very lucky to find out what I really love quite
Yes.
early, and
Yes.
I had the luxury not having to stop this.
Yes.
That's the important thing, and that's the other great thing about drumming is it never stops.
Mhm.
It never stops. It's just like, okay.
Amazing.
I really enjoy. I mean, I do work a lot, but I really enjoy my off days
Yeah.
when I'm just able to just sit down behind the kit and just play the kit.
What's your practice regime like? Because obviously, I know that you're busy and you're touring. Do you get time to just sit and remind yourselves of, you remind yourself of, I know it sounds silly, but even the most basic of rudiments, and go around the
Yeah,
kit, and you get time to
yeah,
do
I
that?
do. I do that, but not. I don't get to play my kit when I'm touring. Only when we play the shows.
Yes.
So unless I want to go in and do a sound check.
Yeah.
But to be honest, we only sound check for a few shows and then we don't sound check anymore.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because that would mean you would have to get in way too early.
Right. And you need your sleep.
And no, not sleep, but
I'm
some
joking.
some of us just don't want to be there too early. So sometimes I would just go in and play a bit when I can,
Yes.
when it's easy. But no, I mainly do rudiments really. And
That's
to be
cool.
honest, my main thing is I still practice stick control.
Okay. Okay.
That's what I practice really. But
Hmm.
I use it. I use it on snare drum obviously, but then I use it on the whole kit, and obviously the same with bass drums and
Yes.
so I mean you get pretty far with just the first page if you
Yeah.
if you do all of this.
Yes. That's so cool. Christian, honestly, I can't wait to see your performance at the Europe Drum Show. And once again, the fact that this is in your entire career, your first ever drum show or drum clinic, I think is completely mind blowing. It
It
makes
is.
your presence at the event so much more special and spectacular. And we just cannot wait to see you. And thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for coming on, sharing your wisdom, and and also your years and years of inspiring other players to pick up the sticks, because that is really the most important thing.
Oh, totally. Absolutely. I totally agree.